Hello everyone and welcome back to the Common Sense Crypto channel. As with you always, this is Rich doing another video today on XRP. So I hope you're all having a wonderful day today wherever you are in this great world. We're going to talk about XRP. I'm going to start with this. Watchdog sues SEC over FOIA access to docs on potential crypto conflict of interest. Watchdog group Empower Oversight, Whistleblowers and Research has filed suit against the U.S. SEC to force the agency to comply with the Freedom of Information Act. Requests for access to communications between former SEC officials and their former and future employers. Empower claimed in its suit that the former SEC officials had a potential conflict of interest regarding cryptocurrency. The suit specifically mentioned former SEC Chair Jay Clayton, former Enforcement Division Director Mark Berger, and former Director of Corporate Finance William Hinman, according to the suit. And we need those documents brought out to the public. We know there was a lot of corruption going on. We know Ethereum got a free pass, but I still think that corruption is continuing today with Gary Gensler. I still think the big banks and their handful of corrupt politicians are pulling Gary's strings. And I still think that going forward without any kind of framework is very dangerous for innovation inside of the U.S. I've been following Ripple almost from the beginning, and they never did anything bordering on what Ethereum founders did. Ripple did not have an ICO, but have been forced to spend $200 million to defend against a weaponized SEC. Take a listen.
Is Ether a commodity?
At some point next month, we're hoping we're going to have an opportunity for people to essentially pre-order some of these Ether, or Ether is Ethereum's internal currency.
So you're calling it Ethers?
Yeah, well, Ether.
How do you spell that?
It's ETHER.
Okay.
Like that void up in the sky. So
right.
It's so we're basically be selling them at a price of 1,000 to 2,000 Ether for our Bitcoin.
So the currency is only going to be exchangeable for Bitcoin?
At the start, likely. Like, we do have plans for partnerships with some different exchanges.
And my view is if there's a group of individuals in the middle that the public is
All right, so let me just ask a second question then.
So I think the answer to that is two things. So first of all, well, yes, there is a risk that we're going to completely fail, and for some reason Ethereum is going to turn out to be impossible. I think that's just a risk that you always take when you're participating in any kind of like pre-order fundraiser or whatever.
Now, most people are pissed off about Ethereum getting a free pass, but you can't really blame Vitalik Buterin. You got to blame the right people, which is the SEC, for allowing it to happen. When there's no framework out there to follow, people just do whatever they want. The difference, what happened though, is Ripple came in, met with the SEC, were fully transparent, got hit with a lawsuit. Ethereum came in, met with the SEC, was probably shady as hell, but had ties to Jamie Dimon and got a free pass. That's what really happened. And even today, we have no framework or no path forward for these crypto companies. That's why when a new crypto company starts out, they're better off starting out in a different country other than the United States. And I still think going forward, we should have the Cftc regulate crypto, not the SEC. And listen to the way this guy speaks, and he tells you that how crypto can make you wealthy.
And S&P E-mini futures, where retail long open interest ranges from 5% to 11%. These studies suggest the amount of retail participation in the digital asset futures market is more than double that in any other futures markets. The barrier to entry in the digital asset space is lower than traditional financial markets, and crypto presents an opportunity to build wealth by those who have found themselves historically shut out. However, these same groups are less likely to have the financial resources to absorb losses. Declining digital asset prices could mean significantly more severe losses for lower income investors, with knock-on effects penetrating the greater economy.
Now, I like the fact that he's looking at the retail investor. He's saying you could come in with, you could go to work, take $10, $20, put it into crypto, and build wealth off of that. If you're going to get into the stock market, you already have to have money at this point. But again, crypto can be life-changing. And I like the idea that the CFTC looks at the cryptocurrencies that we invest in as commodities and not securities. That's why I said I think they're better off regulating it going forward. And they also want to safeguard retail investors from people like Sam Bankman-Fried at the same time. Ripple Ally versus SEC takes new turn as commission withdraws request for disgorgement. LBRY to burn its LBC holdings. Pro-Ripple lawyer says XRP case is different. Now, this has everybody up in arms right now because they're always talking about the Ripple escrow. And people want Ripple to get rid of that escrow because that would, of course, push the price of XRP. So I don't accept the relevance of the LBC burning issue to XRP at all. Nothing about LBRY's sales of LBC are even close in nature to Ripple's current sales of XRP to on-demand liquidity customers. If Judge Torres finds that Ripple's past sales of XRP were investment contracts, but does not find XRP itself a security, why does it follow that Ripple would be ordered not to sell XRP to ODL customers? It doesn't follow. Such sales are not investment contracts. ODL customers don't invest in XRP. They use it for cross-border payments. They don't expect profits because they intend to only hold it long enough for the payment to be made. And their goal is to make that payment, not share goals of some enterprise with Ripple or other XRP holders. And I still think a lot of that escrow is tied up in contracts for on-demand liquidity at the same time. But let's go back to 2020. Could the community force Ripple to burn 48 billion XRP? David Schwartz says, there would be nothing Ripple could do to stop that from happening. If the majority wants a rules change, there is nothing the minority can do to stop them. But what if Ripple was to burn all of that escrow? Here's my theory, okay? So Ripple burns the escrow. Now, whatever XRP is that's out there is out there. But as they burn that escrow, the price of XRP has to rise because the supply just shrank. Well, then what would happen next? Well, a lot of people would sell. Sure, they would make money and walk away. But then the whales would buy up that XRP, and all of a sudden, the whales would control the price going forward. They can manipulate it. That's what I think could happen. What are your thoughts on that? Put it in the comments section down below. Ripple can't burn the escrow, and neither the SEC nor the judge can do anything about it. And I don't think the judge could force them to make that happen because there's validators as well. But again, this has a lot of people up in arms because everybody, for as long as I've been holding XRP, wants Ripple to get rid of the escrow. Back, delist, Stellar. So, back decision to delist XLM alongside other tokens has been met with stern criticism from the Ripple and XRP community, with some members questioning the motives and speculating that it may be an attempt to spread fear, uncertainty, and doubt, FUD, or that the exchange has received a warning from U.S. regulators that made them delist so many coins. An XRP enthusiast with the username Ashley Prosper on Twitter particularly mentioned Gary Gensler, the current chairman of the U.S. SEC, who previously taught blockchain and money courses at Massachusetts Institute of Technology. She referenced one MIT blockchain and money lecture 18, one of Gensler's lectures, where he said most cryptocurrencies are not securities. And again, that's what's going on. These exchanges are delisting certain cryptocurrencies because of pressure coming from Gary Gensler, who has such a double standard. In 2018, Gary was pro-crypto. Now, all of a sudden, he's anti-crypto. And it's because he's looking out for himself. He's not looking out for the retail investor, and he's not doing what's right by the law. He's going above and beyond his actual power. That's why we need the CFTC to step in. Ripple partner Tranglo boast $1 billion in on-demand liquidity transactions. And I want to see more of this happening. I want to see that on-demand liquidity being amped up all throughout the world. That's what's going to add value to XRP. But it's nice to see them cross another threshold. Now they're at the 1 billion mark. Ripple joins IMF to discuss CBDCs for cross-border payments. And again, this is also very big, especially when the IMF wants to create the central bank of all central banks. That means any bank out there that has to work with the IMF has to utilize Ripple's technology. And they're most likely going to utilize XRP as well, because the IMF likes XRP and XLM. And that's also another big advancement. Binance is shutting its Canadian marketplace amidst new regulatory pressures. Again, pressing out all these exchanges, cutting off the on-off ramps. That's why anytime you see Ripple working with Zoom and other companies to create more on-off ramps, that's a good thing, because I think that's the SEC's intentions all along. Keep the retail investor out. U.S. lawmakers target perceived risk of crypto adoption in El Salvador. Now, why is our government stepping in El Salvador? That's the problem with this country right now. That's why we see country after country pushing away from the U.S. dollar, because we can't keep our nose out of their business. Listen, if El Salvador likes crypto, let them push on. Let them become a crypto hub. They want to do away with all the taxes as well. Maybe the U.S. should look at El Salvador and do the same thing here, instead of out there pushing against these countries and their views. You know, that's why I said, you know, in the past, that every single BRICS nation, they're tired of the U.S. Other countries are tired of the U.S. because we stick our nose in where it doesn't belong. And we have our own problems right here at home. You know, take a look at any major city. Maybe that's where our government should be focused on. Fixing the cities inside the U.S., fixing the homeless problem, fixing the drug problem, fixing the border problem. And, you know, instead of worrying about other countries. But again, we're XRP holders. We're about to get rich at some point. The good thing about that is maybe we could move to one of these better countries where people actually love crypto, love innovation, because the direction this country's taking is only pushing us further behind. But with that said, I'm going to wrap up this video. I want to thank you all for watching. I appreciate all of you watching my videos. We'll see you in the next one. Have a great night.